Hello folks, Eamon McAuley here, Belfast boxing historian, ex-pro fighter, back with another wee chat about boxing. I've got one here today for the hardcore boxing fans. Uh, Former WBC light welterweight champion Saoul Mamby died aged 72. He had his last pro fight at the tender age of 60. He was born in the Bronx in 1947. He had a Jamaican father and a Spanish mother. He compiled a decent 25-5 record as an amateur boxer. Mamby was slick, tough, full of heart and had a granite chin. He fought a vast number of good and great boxers including Eben Verrouet, Roberto Duran, Antonio Kid Pembley Cervantes, Morris Termite Watkins, Monroe Brooks, Ronnie Shields, Esteban de Jesus, Billy Costello, Buddy McGurk, Jorge Vaca, Morris Blocker and many, many more. Mamby in 87 pro fights was only ever beaten inside the distance once. And that was by Darrell Coley, but Mamby was in his mid-40s. He was never off his feet. Mamby was a Vietnam veteran and he won the WBC title in Korea. And he defended the title 5 times, including stopping Esteban de Jesus. Mamby lost his title on a split decision to Leroy Halley. There were only two organisations in them days, WBA and the WBC. After his last fight aged 60 against Anthony Osborne, he says, "My tools weren't sharp. Putting guys in body bags in Vietnam, knowing that all their dreams had died with them. I vowed that if I get out of this goddamn place alive, I was going to do what I wanted to do with my life. Boxing makes me feel happy and complete, so I'm boxing. I risked my life in Vietnam, and I can do what I want to now." Larry Holmes talks about Mamby in his book Against the Odds. Mamby said that one morning the phone rang in his Bronx apartment and a new promoter on the block called Harold Smith was on the other end. Smith asked Mamby, who was promoted by Don King, to stop by his office to talk business. Mamby had just won the WBC light welterweight title. Before he left the apartment, he grabbed a pencil to jot the address, thinking Smith was in New York. But no, Smith wanted him to leave immediately for the airport and fly to LA. "Just go to the airport, your ticket will be waiting," Smith told him. "Oh, and bring your woman if you want." When Smith got to the airport, he stood in the line and the ticket agent asked his name. He told her his name and there was a pause. So Mamby figured, typical boxing bullshit. But no, it turned out he was flying first class. Mamby had been boxing from 1969 and for most of his career had been promoted by Don King. And even though he was a world champion, he had never ever flown first class before. In LA, there would be a limousine to meet him and an offer from Harold Smith he couldn't and didn't refuse. $75,000 for one fight and another $75 in cash as a bonus. Mamby flew back to New York $150,000 richer. Ended up Harold Smith wasn't even Harold Smith. His name was Ross Fields and he was wanted by the FBI for embezzling an undisclosed amount of money, which turned out to be 21.3 million. He was caught and sentenced to 10 years in prison. The money was from the Wells Fargo Bank in California. Mamby boxed Roberto Duran in 1976, and doing Mamby's corner that night was Angelo Dundee. And Dundee said that Mamby gave Duran fits. Angelo's brother Chris Dundee thought Mamby deserved a draw at least. I would love to see this fight, but it's not on YouTube. Mamby fought in 5 decades as a professional from 1969 to the year 2000. The only ever boxer to do this in history, to fight in 5 decades, was Roberto Duran. But he returned for one bout in 2008 at the age of 60. He boxed in Jamaica, Puerto Rico, Canada, Dominican Republic, France, Indonesia, Nigeria, Guyana, Spain, Zambia, Cayman Islands, Thailand, South Korea, USA, and Curacao, which is a Dutch Caribbean. He would fight anywhere, anytime, against anyone. He was a coach in the Larry Holmes camp, and Larry said he was a friend. May he rest in eternal paradise. Thanks for listening, take care, and God bless. See you soon.